Alright, we're going to have a little bit of fun today. This is a very, very old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy. It's the pizza thrower van. And a friend of mine gave this to me to attempt to diagnose. Now, to give you an idea of how old this toy is, it comes from a day when toys were powered by C cells. This is a dinosaur. And C cells these days cost a small fortune, so your two C cells in here. Now, I think I've already figured out what the problem was, examining it. It looks like the wire on the positive terminal of the input voltage here, it's just kind of floating there. So I have a feeling that we're gonna open this thing up, find that solder joint is messed up, and just quickly touch up that solder joint, and we should be good to go. My friend wants to sell it, but it should be working first. So we're going to go ahead and grab some screwdrivers here. I can't use my fancy screwdriver because it doesn't fit in the holes, so I'm having to use this little dollar store set that I picked up for $2.95. Don't ask me why a dollar store has something for $2.95. Doesn't make sense. And of course these are going to be so tight that I can't get them with these stupid little screwdrivers. So I'm going to have to do an old trick here, where I do that, apply a goodly amount of pressure, grab this with a pair of pliers, and then crank it. There we go. Old plastic just kind of fusing to the screwdriver there. Also, these screwdrivers have terrible torque because they're so thin. Come on. Get out of there. Oops. Alright, there's one. Oh, I am so sorry, headphone users. Banging the table, that was a poor decision there, Chris. Don't do stuff like that until you have your new microphone. Alright, so continuing this process here of breaking the screws loose, I'm actually going to change my focus point here. Let's put the focus about here. Kind of just middle everything out. There we go. Avoiding banging the table now. All right. I'll see if I can trim that peak down when I edit the video, assuming I remember to edit the audio. I mean, generally, my version of video editing is basically stitching the various segments together, adding any text that needs to be added in post, and that's pretty much it. I don't really know much about video editing. I just render the videos so I can upload them and get them out and move on from there. I'm sure, given time, I will either learn new techniques or, maybe if I become YouTube popular and start making some money, I can commission somebody to do my editing for me. Oh, these are different, so I'll have to remember that the two short screws go in the pizza orifice. Speaking of being YouTube popular, let's just check something here out of curiosity off screen. Alright. And one last screw. Yeah. I am at 495 subscribers. I believe I mentioned in a previous video that I was hoping to hit 500 by the end of the year, and it looks like that's definitely going to happen. At the beginning of the year, I was hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but that's very clearly not going to happen. All right, so that looks like all of the screws. So lacking a spudger, I'm going to have to just very gently. Oh, the sticker. I wonder if I can peel that up without damaging it. Probably not. The adhesive on this is going to be very, very, very old. But let's try anyway. If all else fails, I can just very carefully slit down the center. But I'm hoping I can peel this up. Nope, that's not going to happen. That's just, yeah. So I'm going to have to very carefully just slit down the center of the sticker there. Alright, so there's the top of the machine. We'll just set that aside there. Got a bunch more stuff going on in here. A little very dried out rubber wheel that's meant to fling the... Oh, there's some sort of oil on it too. Gross. This thing probably isn't going to throw stuff anymore because this rubber here is all deteriorated. I mean, maybe some benzene might touch it up, but yeah, I don't think that's going to make really great contact with the discs. So looks like we need to go a little deeper to get to the electronics. So let's grab the good screwdriver because I can actually get some decent torque with this one. There we go. And we'll just keep working our way in. Hopefully there aren't any springs or anything that'll ping off into the distance. Okay, so these are the internal screws, so I'll put those in a slightly different location. There we go. This is a blast from the past. I had some TMNT toys when I was young. I remember being very fond of Donatello because he was sort of the brains of the outfit. You know, he liked his technology and computers and stuff, and I felt, ooh, okay, there is a spring somewhere in there. Oh yes, there's that one there, isn't there? But yeah, he was sort of the techie geek turtle, and I felt somewhat of a kindred spirit. Alright, so we've got that's heat staked, and the solder joints look okay there. Oh yeah, the solder on these pins is looking a little shaky, so we'll probably touch that up. Let's just alright, the solder on the motor seems fine. Doesn't seem like anything's wrong with the motor, but let's go ahead and grab my power supply and we'll put 3 volts on that motor and see what happens. Actually, I'll put a little less than 3 volts on it. Alright, so there we go. There's that one, and that one. Oh, interesting. Alright, so the motor's working fine. I think. It wasn't working fine, and then... Alright, so it's spinning now. Let's see... why am I being dumb? I'll touch the negative here, positive here, and hit the switch here. Alright, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and touch up the solder on these battery terminals anyway, because the one joint is definitely a little shaky, and the positive terminal is looking a little iffy too. Whoops. So let's get the soldering iron out and the flux and the solder. I bought this half-pound spool of solder probably a year and a half ago, and I'm still barely using any of it. It helps if you turn the soldering iron on there, Chris. Okay, so just use my TS100 again until I get another big soldering iron. This one is great for compact work, but it doesn't have a lot of substance to it. I like a soldering iron that has some grunt, but that one, it seems like the microcontroller that controls the temperature is shot, because no matter what, it's always running at an extremely high temperature. I was running into a problem with a project the other day. Oops. That's interesting. I apparently just figured out how to turn it off. So I'll just flood a bunch of nice, juicy lead-based solder onto this thing. There we go. Trying not to melt the plastic in the process, but come on, flow onto the metal of the battery connector here, please. I guess that's fairly good. Alright, let's throw the batteries back in here. I'll give it a quick test. These are fresh batteries, so... Alright, so I'll reach over here, hit the switch. There we go. Alright, so it's all fixed. I don't know if it was just because there was some gunk in the motor there that I needed to knock loose, or if it was because of the battery terminal there. You know what, just to be cheeky, I just had an interesting idea. Gonna be a little silly here. And write a little message on the inside here that probably nobody's ever gonna see, but repaired by Gadget Boy. YouTube.com. /Gadget Boy. There we go. So I'll just throw that in there. Nobody's ever going to see that, but, you know, in case somebody in the long future away decides to take this apart, maybe it needs further repairs or whatever, I'll have left a little bit of a legacy inside the machine there. So, all right, so let's go ahead and reassemble this. That needs to go in this direction. These go over. This goes here. And these settle in like that. Then I need to put this back in. And that goes sort of how do you go? What do? Okay, that goes like that. All right, so that's very exciting content here. Me trying to figure out how to reassemble the thing. All right. A little concerned about the rubber wheel on the motor. I don't think there's much I can do about it, unfortunately. I am not in possession of any benzene, which is about the only thing I could think of that would restore that rubber. There we go. All right, that's that in place. Let's get the screws back in. Actually, before we tighten everything down. Yep, that's definitely working. Cool. So, let's get these screws back into place. And I'll show you an interesting trick. When you're working with old plastic things like this, with these self-tapping screws, you don't want to just slam the screws back in. There's a little trick that you can do. You actually turn them in the wrong direction. So you turn them backwards when you're getting ready to put them back in. And you put them back in until you hear, let me jockey my mic around here. Hear that bonk? So that bonk indicates that you've lined up the existing threads that have already been cut into the plastic with the threads on the screw. And that prevents you from screwing up the plastic by trying to cut a new set of threads with the self-tapping screw. So that's a good habit to get into when you're working in, well, anything plastic, but especially old plastic toys. Not really getting a very decisive bonk on that one, but there it was. Okay, so we'll just screw these down. Once this is all torqued in, we're going to test this one more time. Oh, interesting. So, why does being tightened down make you stop working? Fascinating. Let's loosen these up just a little bit and see if that Alright, so why did you stop working when I tightened? That's probably really unpleasant for headphone users. I'm sorry. Weird. Well, it's working now, so that's all right. And I'm about to run out of batteries, so if there's a awkward jump cut here in the next few moments, it's because the batteries are dying. But I'm going to go ahead and let them run flat, because I think I can quickly throw this back together before they die. So let's just drop these long ones back into the 4 positions there. Grab the other screwdriver that I don't like, but have no choice. Looking for that bonk. There it is. Sometimes it's really decisive, sometimes it's a little anemic, so you... There we go. You kind of learn what it feels like. Well, that one was very decisive. There we go. And one more. There we go. Alright, and then just these 2 remaining screws. Gotta go here and here. And I feel like I've actually applied the wrong screw somewhere. Because this, is that a shorter screw? Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's the right screw for these spots. Just didn't really look like it. Alright, and there's that jump cut I said was going to happen. Anyway, so if you haven't already, consider clicking here to subscribe. Right over here is a video that YouTube thinks you'll find interesting based on your watch habits. Right here is going to be either the autopsy or the repair playlist. And right here is going to be a link to Patreon, which you can use to help support further videos. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.